Thousands of years ago, Sigurd I built incredible engines of war, and with them forged an empire. The emperor married and sired many children. He even had a love child with mysterious Aurora, an ancient dragon in a woman's guise. Once united, peace was declared in Rivellon, and bloodshed soon forgotten. But Sigurd's realm of peace was shattered when his own sons and daughters rose against him. War returned with a vengeance, and annihilation reached new heights. Desperate to safeguard Sigurd's legacy, the wizard Maxos sought the help of the one child that never betrayed his father, Sigurd and Aurora's son, the half-dragon prince. He would be the one to save the empire from ruin, and to aid him in his quest, Maxos delivered unto him the imperial command ship known as the Raven. This is the story of Maxos and the dragon. This is the story of the Dragon Commander. Welcome, noble dragon, to the Raven. This wonder of engineering, this miracle wrought in magic that has a living demon for a heart. Between the knowledge I shall pry from this infernal creature's cryptic mind and the avalanche of tomes, manuscripts and blueprints aboard awaiting study, we will catch up with our enemies in no time and claim back the lands they have taken by force. Our task is monumental, but we will not have to face it alone. Two famed generals are here already, loyal to the legacy we are trying to save, and therefore loyal to you, given time. I have furthermore enlisted the service of Grumio, an imp of devilish cunning that can fashion anything my research will uproot. Already he has created you a wonder he calls a jet pack. Talk to these men, get your bearings, and begin your conquest. If you have any more questions, you can find me in the Royal Chamber, which I shall use as a study. Good luck, Dragon. May the Divines be with you.
Let me tell your right of the bat bastard that I hold you in very little regard. Your father may have been a great king once, but this last decade, a crowned pig would have played the part better. He became a vainglorious fool, a sloth, and a coward. No wonder then that his own children could amass armies unperceived and strike at the heart of a kingdom in a matter of days. He tried to run, but he failed, and they slew him where he stood. Now the realm has been shattered, and vultures are picking what they can from his corpse by means of new and terrifying war machines. I'd say all is lost, but Maxos insists you are to be the one, the hero, who will take back the land we've lost. Excuse me if I laugh in derision. Still, you are a dragon, I'll give you that, and of ancient blood. Prove to me you have the rocks to do undaunted battle, and perhaps my respect may still be yours. Henry of the House of Lancefort. More you needn't know. Edmund, he's called. A lizard of the House of Carcarus. In truth, I'd rather sleep with Syphilis incarnate than have him aboard, but there's no denying his talent. He's as arrogant as he is astute, and as ingenious as he is insufferable. Why don't you offer him a word of welcome? I know I won't. I believe he's in the bar. Probably searching for sherry. Just about the only drink that snooty serpent will swill. Aye, and you have titles as well, but none of them king, as yet. I'll address you with the right regard the day you prove worthy of it.
And there we have it, I suppose. The dragon son of a monarch deposed. Rightful heir to the throne, even if he was born out of wedlock. No doubt that boar of a Henry has already introduced me in his ever-elegant way. So here I am, Lord Edmund Augustus III, Duke of Hawknest Hall. I'd add at your service, but I don't think we're quite there yet. To be perfectly honest, I'd normally entertain the idea of lending my expertise to your cause as curtly as I'd consider attending a dwarven opera. But not unlike my fellow general, it is Maxos's backing of this enterprise that has me intrigued. You have doubts benefit, Dragon. Let's see how far it takes you. When one dwells among the highest echelons of power, where ambition runs thicker than blood, distrust is your best friend, as is its brother, caution. In your case, though, the waters of misgiving run somewhat deeper. You are, after all, but a half-dragon. They call your kind dragon knights to lend an air of nobility to a lowly mixed breed. Not many make the distinction, even, but the crucial difference is in purity. Human ancestry taints your being, for humanity and weakness are two sides of the same tuppence I drop in beggars' hats. A bastard twice are you, my lord. Bastard born and bastard bred. Only that it was bound to happen, for when an emperor weakens, his empire weakens with him. Now a litter of dogs is fighting for the throne, so maybe their dragon half-brother can walk away with it.
Greetings, sire, sprung from kings. I am Grumio, son of Gromio, an imp of good and honest standing. Your technician, shall I be, if it pleases you. Your engineer and architect. I hope you'll like my jetpack. It is my gift to you, to keep without recompense, for gladly shall I remain aboard this wondrous ship to tinker and toy, hammer and hew. She is special, this vessel, filled with wonders undiscovered. The wizard, he feels it too. The taste, the tingle of mystery. Oh, to unlock its secrets. Well, my lord, when your good father and Maxos first started to conquer the world with their fancy machines, we Emps were mesmerised. None of us cared if we were being drafted into a strange warlord's empire, for if those were the weapons he wielded, we were all ready to welcome him with open arms. By golly, were we ever. Steam-driven giants on land, on sea, even in air. Oh, the ecstasy! Such wonders, such ingenuity, and jeepers, what cannons! Ever since then, some 30 years hence, us imps have dedicated our existence to the advancement of these delightful machines. Now, before those blessed days arrived, people regarded us as eccentric gnomes taken to experimenting with flame, gas and liquid like so many charlatan alchemists, but those days are over. We are scientists now, famed and fortuitous. And truth be told, though, we've never quite given up our love for all things combustible. Rather on the contrary. Not that you mind, do you, my lord? Let's ready the tools, my lord.
Never hesitate to seek my counsel, Dragon Knight. Tirelessly I study and question, in the knowledge that my discoveries will make you the mightiest dragon ever to have soared the skies. We too shall unite dragons' daring with wizards' wisdom. Nothing shall stand in your way. That is quite a tale, my friend, so bear with me. Since the dawn of time, beautiful Rivellon has been a stage of bitter rivalry, strife, and war. Haughty humans, all too lofty lizards, dogged dwarves, erratic elves, irrational imps, dogmatic undead, and yes, wayward wizards even, couldn't forego the time it takes for the moon to wax and wane without turning to fresh violence. Peace. The word itself hardly had a meaning. It was an abstract, Until after long and dark ages, 3 men decided they had had enough. I was one of them. The other 2 were your father Sigurd, and an eccentric inventor known only, even by us, as the Architect. We knew war would continue everlasting unless one king would stand up, conquer all feuding factions, and unite the manifold battling races under the banner of a single world-spanning empire. Easier said than done was, I believe, our initial reaction. It was the Architect who provided us with the answer to the question how on earth we would go about enacting such an unparalleled enterprise. He said he had ways and means to provide your father, a battle-hardened warlord in his own right, with engines of war such as the world never saw. Technology, that was the solution. For if we could go to war with weapons so vastly superior as to be unstoppable, every opponent would have to yield before our onslaught. Where the Architect obtained his strange knowledge from, he never wished to reveal. But in truth, Sigurd and I cared little for his mysterious ways. For whatever the source, our plans worked like a charm, and in a matter of years, Rivellon was ours. Yes, we had done it. We had created our empire, and your father became its first and so far only ruler. For a few precious decades, peace had finally taken on a meaning. It was a bright flash, all too quickly extinguished along the tenebrous continuum of time. Long have I asked myself that question, yet the answer is as simple as it is obvious. Human nature. Love, jealousy, anger, grief. All of these emotions proved more fatal to the stability of peace than 100,000 war machines could. You see, Sigurd, the Architect, and I remained close friends after our quest had come to completion. But then, one fateful day, a woman of unequaled beauty arrived at court. After but a glance, there wasn't a man's heart in the room, not aching for even her mildest attention or a most fleeting caress. Your father, though married, courted her, as did the Architect. For myself, I'd admit I'd given up the very secrets of magic in return for her love, but I knew rivalry could only lead to misery. And so it did. For bitter rivals my 2 friends became, and when in the end Sigurd was the one to win her affections, the Architect left the palace with such hatred in his eyes as to strike me as diabolical. A year their secret liaison lasted. 1 year your father and beautiful Aurora were happy together. Then suddenly she died. And it took me a long time to find out she did so at the hand of the Architect. Sigurd never knew. He was destroyed by grief. The mighty warlord withered, and with him, the soul of his empire flickered like a candle in the breeze, until his own children blew it out forever and hacked to pieces the land that was to have been his legacy. I promise I will tell you in due time. For now, I must keep silent. Please, don't press me any further on the subject. Though I said I noticed from the beginning her beauty was of such perfection as to be supernatural, I soon discovered she was indeed more than human, and that the enchanting guise we saw her in was but a mask. Behind it lurked the dragon. Yes, she was one of the ancients, interested in the ways of the infinitely lesser creatures we nevertheless call civilized. She was intrigued by Sigurd, his war machines, and his empire. It led her to his castle, to a brief spell of passion, and ultimately, her downfall. No one in Rivellon, save for you, Sigurd, the Architect, and I, know of Aurora and how her death affected your father. As far as most are concerned, he was a great hero who all too soon fell prey to indulgence, sloth, and alcohol, which lost him the affection of his children, and in time started the war. They are wrong, but truth will be revealed one day. Rest assured that when we finish our conquest and I can spend some leisure time in peace, I will write his history, and yours too. Everyone shall know the tragedy that befell him, and how his son, by the woman he loved, rose to save an empire. In a few words, victory and destruction. First, we must vanquish all warring rivals for the throne. Then, we must undo the technology that enabled them to go to war in the first place. We will rekindle the Empire of Peace your father founded and be rid of the apparatus that might threaten it once more. Praise be that I know more than 100 languages older than mankind itself. If not, these books would mean very little to me indeed. Gladly shall I... Let's get this dance of death started. Construction underway, Commander. We're out of recruits, Commander. Troopers awaiting your decision, sire. I will stand until my last breath. The grave be their destiny. Forge completed. Your unit will soon be ready. We're out of recruits, Commander. Anything for the Empire. I'll be the last thing they see. Not enough recruits to turn into a dragon, Commander. The enemy can build troopers now. Not enough recruits to morph, Commander. We're under attack, but we will hold our ground.
They'll be squished like grapes, sire.
Great dragon, glorious warlord. Once more you return from the battlefield red with the blood of slain adversaries. And let me tell you, these victories of yours have not gone by unnoticed. In fact, to my great satisfaction, another pair of dauntless generals has joined our company. 4 military masterminds are now on board, more than enough to start a campaign of conquest on a truly grand scale. No doubt you're as anxious to meet them as they are to meet you. So why don't you go to the throne room, where I've instructed them to await your arrival? Heavens no. You have the military firmly on your side. But civil emissaries too are bound to join our cause in due time. Indeed, I expect you will be declared emperor before long. Yes, you heard me correctly. Emperor. It is inevitable. People have heard of you. The dragon. Their one hope of deliverance from war, oppression, and death. Soon hope will turn into confidence. And when ambassadors of the civilized races flock to the Raven, your political career will commence. You yourself will of course represent all humans. But the dwarves, elves, lizards, imps, and undead will want their say as well. And more. Still, let us worry about politics later. Today, it is your generals that count.
My Lord Dragon, allow me to present your team of generals. Edmund you already know, but I now have the pleasure of introducing you to Her Highness Lady Catherine, Queen of Westbridge, and Scarlet, not noble of birth, but the more so of heart. We 4 have pledged we will stand by you in your conquest as a rightful heir to Revlon's throne. Bastard no longer, you shall be known as Commander, until the day comes that you shall be king. All hail the dragon!
Hail! Hail!
Yes, well, hail.
Yes, Commander. Seemed hardly proper to call you by that particular pet name on what was somewhat of an official occasion. But don't worry, I may still slip up once or twice, even though my respect for you is in fact growing. You've got a knack for bloody brutal battle, and faint heart never won fair victory.
How's it hanging, Commander? I'm Scarlet, and you're a dragon, they tell me. Always wanted to ride one of those, though I bet you're a little harder to handle than a horse. All part of the fun, though, I reckon, so give me a shout when I can take you for a spin. Treat me mean, I'll scratch your eyes out. Treat me well, and I'll purr like a kitten. Your choice, Commander.
I would say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Commander. But as it stands, I must approach you with a bit of reserve. True, to know we have a dragon knight for a leader is a great relief. For such a grand creature inspires bravado in the many hearts that will have to be won so that we may overthrow the spreading dark. But then again, you are the offspring, the male offspring to boot, of a sorry line prone to decadence and corruption. The very line, in fact, that is responsible for the downfall of the Empire in the first place. Forgive me then if I do wonder, will this commander pass muster? Earn his wings? Earn his crown? Because they call us females the fairer sex. But in truth, we are also more cunning, resilient, refined, and downright intelligent. Give an empire a queen, I say, and it will be ruled. Give it a king, and it will become an afterthought. For like any man, he is content when both his belly and his bed are filled with a prize piece of tender flesh. No more. Men are simple creatures, Commander, and should therefore be in charge of simple things only.
It's going to take some getting used to, you know, to call you Commander. Verily, I was rather opposed to the notion, but Maxos in his infinite wisdom insisted we up the level of common courtesy toward you. Commoner would have done. Commander, though, it shall be. As much as it is in the eagle's nature to look down upon the world in hunt of lesser creatures, it is my genius that makes me soar high above all others. Lesser creatures indeed. At the lone top do I reside, but I would have it no other way. Those who do not understand, all but everyone, calls me a loner, thinking the word to be a pejorative. but it is on the contrary glorious to live in sweet isolation when all around you non-lizards, that is to say, inferiors, skitter and crawl like vermin. I am a solitudinarian, for my nature makes me so. And when I do have contact with those I loathe, inevitably I talk down to them as it is impossible to communicate on a level of equality when there is none to be had.
It's wondrous, my lord. Wondrous. The raven, she speaks to me in my dreams. She tells me fantastic things, newfangled and new formed. I can make them all for you if you provide the right resources. Indeed, she does, my lord. A soft voice sings inside my head, but only when I'm in the land of eyes shut and mind at rest. There, she guides me to glory. Shows me things not even wizards could dream of. Yes, but don't remind me. My heart bleeds just thinking about it. Oh, but I must be like a chef, don't I? I must create delicate wonders, impeccable blends of perfection in the knowledge they must all turn into wretched clumps of waste destined for the sewer. It's a thankless thing I do, but I must remind myself the fun lies in creation, not completion. Can't be helped, my lord. We'll forge like not even a dwarf can, my lord.
Praise be that I know more than 100 languages old. Does he now? There's an explanation for that, but I'll reserve it for later. Be built in a jiffy. Don't be pushy.
Like the wind.
We're out of recruits, Commander. What's the medical emergency? There's 13.
On the trail.
Construction in progress.
On the trail. They won't even see me coming.
Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander.
You set the trap, I'll make the kill.
awaiting your instructions, Commander. It'll be built in a jiffy.
They won't even see me coming.
Wall factory completed. We need more recruits, Commander. Construction underway, Commander. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. We'll crush them one leg at a time. Recruitment citadel completed. Your unit will soon be ready. Shipyard completed. There is no reason to doubt your insight, sir.
Show me my prey. They won't even see me coming. Hunters off the leash. Picking up their scent. You found me, did you?
Pay me in blood.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
It'll be built in a jiffy.
On the trail. Like the wind. Go on, give me a target. They won't even see me coming.
It'll be built in a jiffy. Construction in progress. What's the medical emergency? That's impossible, Commander. That's impossible, Commander. Anti-ground turret complete. Anti-ground turret. Recruitment citadel completed. We had better be on the lookout for enemy grenadiers, Commander. Construction underway, Commander. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander. Your unit will roll out momentarily, Commander.
Grenadiers are filled up with ale. Grenadier, fresh from the barracks. Walking beer keg, reporting for duty. All oiled up and ready to go.
Wall factory completed. We're out of recruits, Commander. Trooper awaiting your instructions, Commander. The Emperor's enemy is my enemy. Everybody lies, even dying people. Don't be pushy.
I got license to kill.
That's impossible, Commander.
Hunters off the leash.
Constructed to fight.
their trail!
Unit is being manufactured, Commander. Your unit will soon be ready. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. I'm afraid we're out of support, Commander. Enemy troopers can now capture our buildings.
Grenadier, fresh from the barracks. Walking beer keg, reporting for duty.
A new medical mystery.
Hunter on the prowl.
The Emperor shows us the way.
Grenadier, fresh from the barracks.
Ready to follow you, even into death. The Emperor's enemy is my enemy. Trooper ready to march.
Sound the trumpets, Hunter's here.
Ah, Commander. No doubt you've had an eventful and successful day so far. But don't rest on your laurels just yet. For I'm here to inform you the counselors have arrived. The ambassadors of the races whom you'll have to duel and deal with in the political arena. Such is both the prerogative and the burden of an emperor to be. You may think your first duty is that of conquest, to bring the war to as swift an end as possible. But I'm afraid there is much more to being a monarch than military matters alone. As a commander, as an emperor, you'll have to constantly endeavor to find that delicate balance between your roles as strategist and statesman, for the one necessarily influences the other. Now, you may consider it strange that some will worry about the price of bread and others will gripe about taxes, when all around us, machines of war threaten the existence of the very realm. But if you give it a moment's further thought, this is only logical. We may find ourselves trapped amid a conflict of gargantuan proportions. But that does not mean the average man worries most about feeding his family, about the little things that make for a happy life. And when you have been given an empire, Commander, you have to be responsible for every matter, every obstacle, every creature, great and small. This may seem daunting, but I have never and never will doubt for even an instant that you, of all people, will rise to the occasion. Your counselors await you in the throne room, Commander. Godspeed.
Aha! Shush, everyone, shush! Here comes the long-awaited commander. The dragon that would deliver us from vile usurpers. The one deserving heir to Rivellon's throne. Let me cut right to the chase, Commander, for I'm not a man who takes pride in his words, but in his pragmatism, rather. The entire realm is under siege, and the free peoples left need a strong leader. One who inspires. You see, there may be a war going on, Commander, but that doesn't mean you don't have a realm to rule. Oftentimes, political concerns will take precedence over military ones, no matter how trivial they may sometimes seem in these dark times. As much as possible, where your rule has been established, everyday life must continue like it would in times of peace, and everyday life concerns itself with everyday worries. The people will look to you for guidance in these matters. We, as their representatives, have witnessed your triumphs with mounting awe, and have agreed you are to be the one, the hero, who shall both restore the kingdom and recommence the workings of government. I therefore declare you Emperor. Long live the Emperor! Long live the Emperor!
May the Seven be praised now that we have found our champion and our Emperor. May the fire of the dragon obliterate every heretic in its way. May the light of the gods illuminate your soul. The highest. We are the chosen of the Seven, Commander. We are those that have known death, have walked its black shores, but then have been restored to life. You think you are alive now, Commander, but you are not. You are but in the phase of flesh. Yet if you are devout and sweat in service of the Seven, you too, after the Dark Mother has lulled you to sleep, may be plucked from the dales of shadow and given the perpetuity of the bone. Do well by the gods, Commander, and you'll do well by us, as well as all in the realm. We have many proposals to that effect, which I will bring before you in due time. So say I, Yorick, humble servant of the Seven.
Honored to meet you, Commander. I am Oberon, envoy of the elves, ambassador of the beasts, spokesman of plants, here in the hope that our new emperor will treat majestic Rivellon with the reverence she deserves, even in these times of frightful war. Well, Commander, if elves were the only race to have become what they misnomer civilized, this globe and all upon it would exist in a paradise of such perfection, the gods need not create for us a heaven. Such, alas, is the fiction, not the reality. Others, less scrupulous in the handling of natural beauty, have risen to prominence. They hack and mine, blast, drain, and usurp. As much as we can, we condemn and attempt to stop their misguided endeavors. We are the Green Mothers, unwavering paladins, and it is our fondest desire you, Commander, will join our ranks. Defend nature, and defend the little man, for they will in turn defend you. A happy people, one with the wilds, will fight for its country with redoubled zeal. To that effect, I hope we'll have your backing.
Isn't this a world gone topsy-turvy? I've declared you Emperor, and you don't even know my name. Sir Falstaff Silvervein, Commander. Born and bred neath the Emerald Mountains. There. Now that we've been acquainted, I do declare it's time for a beer. A prouder folk you'll ne'er meet, Commander, nor a more robust one. Best allies an aspiring king can have, for our love of gold and all things precious is legendary, and gold is what an emperor needs if it be conquest that takes his fancy. So listen when I give advice, for your economy will prosper by it. Liquid gold, of course, is another of our pride and joys. For ale a sparkle, we'd go to war. But our families, above all, Commander, are holy. Those manifold kernels that band together, and like the rings that form a chain mail, shape a society that is stout and steadfast. Yes, dwarven families grow as plenty as the grain on 1,000 wheat fields. And just like grain, it is from them that we derive the bread that nourishes civilization, and the beer that quenches its thirst.
By the powers vested in me by the great lizard lords, I, Prosper, endorse your newfound emperorship. Sorely we are in need of a dragon, Commander. We are not a people that make great demands, Commander. We simply hold many a thing dear without succumbing to the excess of it. The dwarves revere their gold to such an extent it becomes a fetish. Elves abide so strictly by nature they become her slaves. We like gold, for it is an economical must. We like nature, for she sustains us. Yet none of the two we idolize. Reason and liberty, those are our bywords. Territories we defend valiantly. Territories, alas, easily encroached upon, for emperors tend to curtail them. Our ideal is therefore not a monarchy, but a republic. Think on that, Commander, as you pursue the throne.
By Grumio's gadgets, it's a pleasure indeed to shake hands with you, Commander. Your technician is my nephew, don't you know? And I am Trinculo Shortfuse, son of Trunculo Even Shorter Fuse. Praised be the dragon! Ha! You want gizmos? You want imps. You want the unthinkable? You want imps. You want great, big, loud, bright fire explosions? Lords above, it's imps you want. We live for all that is new and shiny. The old, we blow it up. The new, we study it for a while before we blow it up. Why? Because there's always something even newer waiting around the corner. Science, Great Dragon, never sits still. Try, investigate, experiment. And with a bit of luck, boom! Ha ha ha! A bigger bang than ever. On a more serious note though, Commander, science is indeed our passion. And we hope that under your rule, we will be free to explore its limits. Damn the gods, for there are none, and damn petty morality, for it is a brake on progress. Back us, and we'll craft you miracles.
Remember, Commander, when a dwarf bleats black and an elf whines white, don't be afraid to tell them they can go sod themselves with a fire iron and choose whatever colour bloody well pleases you. Treat councillors like you would obstinate children or you'll get nothing done around here.
So they have arrived, the politicians. I thought I caught a whiff of hypocrisy. Better watch your back, Commander.
Here was me thinking the pea-brain parade had arrived for your after-dinner entertainment, but no. Turns out it's the council. I sincerely hope those filthy creatures stay well away from me, and that the one noble among them, esteemed Prosperer, suffers as little interaction with them as possible.
I hope you are well prepared for long and bitter discussions, Commander, now that these councillors have arrived. I know from experience the lengths they'll go to upstage one another and bring home the gold for their faction only.
How can I be of assistance, my lord? Righto, my lord.
Praise be that I...
What a sorry excuse for a general Henry is. Drunk as a dwarf again, going on and on about his lost arm. The more liquor disappears down his throat, the more he can still feel it. Wish he had a phantom tongue instead of a phantom limb. The place would be so much quieter.
Commander, it is imperative that we should win the war. For our enemies are godless heathens in need of annihilation. To hasten this process, I therefore propose we introduce conscription. For why have young, able-bodied men sit around or do menial tasks when they could be serving in your armies instead?
Commander, even the most peace-loving elf won't deny that in these dark times of war, allowances have to be made which we would otherwise condemn. Conscription, though, goes too far. Let those that wish to fight for our cause do so, but let's not force men away from their families if they feel it is their duty to stand by them.
Conscription may have somewhat of an ill ring to it, Commander, but it might be worth consideration nonetheless. There's not a dwarf that won't take up his axe for the Empire, but elves! A three-fingered man could number their volunteers on one hand. Time to get these weaklings into shape.
I don't think conscription is a very good idea, Commander. Not only should a life of soldiery be an individual's choice rather than an obligation, but by drafting so many young men into the army, you're draining our economical reserves. So please don't forget your political obligations because of your military ones.
Here's an imp's perspective, Commander. More soldiers equals bigger battles, and bigger battles equals more explosions. Win-win. Granted, it's a bit of a simplistic perspective, but imps will have their fun, you know.
Bravo, Commander. Nothing like fresh blood to reinvigorate the military. A lot of it will be spilled, yes, but in service of the Seven, that is an honor, not a sacrifice.
You are too harsh a man, Commander. Think about the consequences of conscription. There will be cases of conscientious objection, desertion, thereby execution. So much drama for the sake of a few extra soldiers.
Good. Fair's fair, Commander. Oberon and his kin deserve to make a bit of an extra effort, and if they don't make for good cannoneers, at least they'll make for proper cannon fodder.
I think you're making a mistake, Commander, but so be it. A generation will march to war. How many will return, I wonder?
Wonderful. I knew you'd be swayed by the arithmetic of detonation. A child could do the math, and a child would be equally delighted by the outcome.
Well, 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 the Dragon Commander himself. Come, sit, drink with me. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. He's had a few too many. But you'd take to the right too if you had an imp apparatus for an arm. Never told you how I came by this eyesore, did I? 'Twas during the great and glorious last stand to save the Empire. Horseshit! We fought like lions so that the king, your bloody father, could scarper with what riches he could hold. But my soldiers did their duty. They died where they stood, and I was left for dead, want of an eye and an arm. Not that any of it mattered. The king's head was shown decorating a stake, like star crowns will the pines come midwinter night. Defeat. Bah! Luckily, a touch of the malt can relieve its bitter taste. You have the respect of Maxos, and that certainly speaks in your favor. But you'll need to come a long way yet to prove unto me you're not just another pampered prince he yanked away from his mother's teat. So what'll you have then? Mead or milk?
Sup, Commander? Don't really know, Commander. I certainly hope. About whom, Commander? Bit stuck up, ain't she? That's what a royal title will do to you. She used to be a proper queen and everything, with an entire country at her beck and call. How the mighty have fallen, eh? Me? I don't care for any of that rot. You got nothing. You got nothing to lose. About whom? Shifty son of a bitch, isn't he? Acting all high and mighty all the time, calling imps idiots, dwarfs dullards, that sort of thing. Makes you wonder if there's a single thing he's not intolerant of. About whom, Commander? Excellent chap, that one. Likes his jokes dirty and his liquor plenty. 2 peas in a pod, me and him. Well, on and off, that is. Can fight like a demon unleashed as well. Best to have him on our side.
What would you inquire of me, Commander? If you wish. He's in a class of his own, there's no doubt about it. A brilliant mind, but in my opinion, a flawed one as well. He styles himself as superior to everyone else, and that would be just fine if he weren't a man. Or a bigot. I have many friends and enemies that are dwarves or elves or imps, and never have I seen evidence the one is inherently more smart or stupid than the other. In Edmund's mind, though, we are all on par with cattle, which is simply infuriating. If you wish. General Henry is the typical man who thinks of himself as an alpha male, whereas he is, of course, an alpha mongrel. He has the refinement of an inbred orc, and the manners to match, but he is a more than adequate officer once the trumpets herald war. Indeed, if he were a bit less brazen and a bit more calculated in his conduct, he might well come to rival Eerie Edmund. If you wish, she could stand to be a bit more ladylike in her ways, and many consider her resistance to authority counterproductive in a military setting. But she's wily as a wizard, and tough as mithril nails. Don't ask me why, but I have the feeling she's a troubled girl somehow. A girl, yes, hardly a woman as yet. None of my business, of course. She is here, and she's willing to fight for Rivellon. That's all that really matters.
What a sorry excuse for a...
Shall I tell you about the... It'll be my pleasure.
What? Oh, do forgive me, my friend. I was so lost in thought, not even an elven ranger could have led me out of its wilderness.
Fie upon Edmund's pride, Commander. The Lizard Lords have granted him the honor of representing our mighty military on a diplomatic mission of utter import, and he gets his knickers in a twist because it comes with a spot of sacrament alien to our ways. I should think it would be good fun to attend an imp ceremony. Something is bound to blow up. Isn't that what the generals normally like?
Imps, Commander. Are they not truly the lowliest of all the races? Were it not for the hint of demon cunning in their blood, we most probably wouldn't speak to them as much as serve them for supper with a series of seasonal stuffings. As it is, however, the Lizard Lords have deemed it fit to strengthen the military cooperation between ourselves and those demoniacal dewdrops. I'd exhale an existential sigh upon the hearing of such folly, yet give it no further thought but for one devilish detail in the treaty. It is I, as our foremost general, who must, quite literally, stoop to inspect their armies. An impish high priest will be present, figures fit for farce that are greeted and received with ridiculous amounts of highly ritualized protocol. As Henry might say, Commander, I'd rather lick marmalade from an orc's behind than bow to an imp. My very reason for currying your draconic benevolence at this hour. Certainly I have your blessing to abstain from these grotesque formalities and tend to business rather than etiquette. A most salubrious solution, Commander, for my well-being as well as theirs, for no doubt my patience would have worn very thin. Thin as the threads of life of those who were wearing it out.
I don't think the gods of war care who wins or loses. In their eyes, all battles are won simply for being...
I must say, I don't envy Edmund, Commander. He's to bow and scrape afore an imp of all things. If 'twere any other general, I'd publicly protest. But that conceited tosser deserves to kiss dust once in a while. Remind him he walks the earth just like the rest of us. Well, except you, perhaps.
Nothing as frustrating as conquering land to the west.
Grumio the grease. Let's ready the...
My studies have been highly interesting. Let's get this dance of death started. It'll be built in a jiffy.
Off we go.
Anything for the Empire. The Emperor shows us the way. Battle Forge completed. Unit is being manufactured, Commander. Constructed to fight. We need more recruits, Commander. Trooper ready to march. Let's get this dance of death started. Constructed to fight. Trooper ready to march. We'll crush them one leg at a time. The grave be their destiny. We'll crush them one leg at a time. The Emperor shows us the way.
Never has a lizard of such standing brought such utter shame upon our kin. Oh, that devil of an Edmund assaulted a frail and aged imp, a much revered priest among their kind. If he weren't such a brilliant strategist, I'd have him busted down to private and have him peel potatoes till the day he retires.
Commander, I am pleading here today on behalf of a dwarven miner who was cruelly left to his fate by his own kindred. An incident in the mines cost him his leg, and he is too poor to pay for a proper prosthetic one. Henry, your own general, could afford impish machinery, but the dwarves, who easily could as well, will not provide for their stricken fellow. Well, I say they should. Indeed, the state should. We can. So why not do so?
Just like diseases, accidents are simply punishments from the gods. If this misbegotten dwarf lost a leg, he probably took the Seven's names in vain, or forgot to say a prayer before dinner, and they saw it fit to make him attentive of his sin. Paying for his convalescence would be tantamount to forgiving his trespass, which only the gods have the least to do.
If the state should pay for each and every work accident, for every broken nail and broken leg, we'll be paying through the nose, and it's your finances that'll be crippled. Mark my words, Commander. Listen to that bleeding heart elf, and the treasury will bleed the more for it.
Oberon's tale is a shocking one, Commander. If this miner suffered such a dreadful injury while working, then the mining corporation in charge should pay for his treatment. And if they won't or cannot, then yes, the nation should.
There are more with a prosthetic limb than without among us imps. Comes with the territory, I suppose. All those volatile war machines. Most of our top inventors have more metal than meat to them. And of course, it's only fair the government chips in where they can.
The people deserve a kind emperor and a generous one too. You are both, Commander.
Here you go, Commander. I've been meaning to return your ring, though I admit I do so with a hint of reluctance. What little marvel it is, this ruby-set band, gave me no end of cheer. There he stood before me, that hick of a high priest, expecting me to bow left, bow right, extend hands in welcome, and all manner of delirious nonsense. Well, that is not quite the ritual I observed. With the back of the hand emblazoned by your signet, I struck him firmly across the jaw, exclaiming, "Feel the sting of the dragon! Crawl back from whence you came so that I may do my duties!" Needless to say, he scuttled off like a dog kicked in the nose, and my business there was concluded before the setting of the sun. I'll remember this episode fondly, Commander. Reminisce with a choice sherry as the sound of your ring-shattering impish jaw resounds in my memory once more. A symphony of satisfaction.
Ha ha ha! What a character that Edmund is. Did you hear, Commander? Kapow! Right in the kisser. Sure showed that old fart of a shaman, didn't he? Every imp in the realm has thought of treating him to a knuckle sandwich, but it took your general to take him out to lunch. Kudos!
Stand in the park. Under my rule.
Bloody good show, Commander. We can...
Oh, lovely to see. Right home.
What? My privilege, Commander.